Islands scattered all over the world, all that's left of an empire on which the sun never set. But how long can these colonial hangovers hope to last in today's world? Aidan Watler is a Cayman Islander who writes about overseas territories.
I think colonialism is a very uncomfortable history, and rightfully so. And then overseas territories make people very uncomfortable. I've heard kind of heads of state, heads of government say that, that it's ridiculous that we still have colonies in the Caribbean.
So are overseas territories colonies? Many people seem to think so.
Do you see all British overseas territories as colonialism?
Absolutely. British Empire never ended.
I don't know if I can describe them all as colonies, but definitely not consensual British overseas territories. I don't think that's possible.
Here, I should address the elephant in the room, that the United Nations does not like overseas territories.
The UN says to be decolonised, a state must be integrated into a larger state, go independent, or actively choose to enter into a free association.
They would expect people in the overseas territory to say, yes, we want to be, affixed to this other country as an associated territory. And as far as I can tell, that hasn't happened in any of the overseas territories. It's been a kind of unspoken or soft agreement.
According to the United Nations, overseas territories are colonies. Only this year, they forced Britain to give up the Indian Ocean territory. So why aren't more leaving?
Well, I think we look at the rest of the Caribbean, and most times independence has been a disaster.
But suddenly we become a very small fish in a very big pond on our own.
Within that independence, we lose a lot, which, protects us, especially as a really small country.
It is very difficult to make our voices heard on the international stage. We can go to Westminster and say, look, this is our really pressing issue. And we can trust, in theory, that that's going to be pushed up the chain and that Britain is going to look out for us.
Can I welcome into the gallery the speakers of Anguilla, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, the Falkland Islands, Gibraltar, Montserrat.
Some say that preying on the insecurities of islands is just a way of trapping colonies.
That's what Britain does really well in all of the overseas territories, from what I've noticed. It's like, we'll put you in a really crappy situation and then give you a crappy solution and you'll enjoy it.
Obviously, the historical fact of colonialism still carries a lot of weight, both in former colonies and in the UK itself. So I think a lot of activists come with good intentions, but perhaps not as much familiarity with the kind of will of the people contemporaneously. The fact that we haven't sought independence isn't a reflection that we are oppressed or colonized. It is a deliberate governance choice.
For Aidan, living on a small island in the Caribbean, the question is wrong. Overseas territories aren't independent, and they aren't colonies.
In the globalized world of the 21st century, the assumptions we make about sovereign states and them being independent and acting in this international system, we don't live in that world anymore. And perhaps we can have new governance forms that isn't traditionally what we would think of as, what makes statehood.
Questions about morality and colonialism may threaten the continual existence of overseas territories, but so long as it keeps being in the practical interest of island communities to stick with this British island, there may be some time yet before the sunset.